Good morning and welcome back. Now today's video is going to be all about superfat. That is a term that sometimes gets flagged or reported in Facebook. So many times of the soap making forums you will see a SF in the comments, and if you are new to soap making you might not know what SF stands for. Now superfat is, in a very simple term, the extra oil in your soap. But let's go and look at exactly what is superfat. Why do we superfat, and how do we calculate how much the superfat in your soap? Okay, to know more about or learn more about superfat, you need to know how soap forms. Now, if you're new to soap making, you're going to need at least 3 ingredients. You're going to need water, lye, and you're going to need an oil or a fat. Now you dissolve your lye in the water and then you add that to the oil. So you're going to have lye molecules in your water, you're going to have fatty acids in your oil, and the lye molecules, for every fatty acid there should be a lye molecule that they can react, and then they marry and they make a new product that's going to be soap. And the byproducts, the babies, are going to be glycerin. That's an awesome thing. Handmade soap do have glycerin in it, naturally. Okay. So if there is extra oil in your soap or your soap recipe, that means it's going to find a little lime body and it's not going to marry and it's going to be left over. So you're just going to have plain soap, not soap, you're going to have oil molecules in your soap that is just going to wait there for you to utilize either one or two ways, or actually both. Okay, let's quickly just look over why do we superfat. If you make soap, in your soap molecule form, you've got a long chain, and the one side is fat loving and the other side is water loving. It's hydrophilic. It's lipophilic and hydrophilic. So lipo is liposuction, it's fat, so it's fat loving, and the hydro is water, so it's water loving. So what this little soap molecule does is it will grab onto anything fatty that it can find, and it will grab onto water molecules, and that is how it grabs onto the dirt and washes all the dirt away. So soap molecules, awesome little things. So if you have extra superfat in your soap, one of the things that do happen, if you make soap, you will know any little oil spill that you don't clean up 100% is going to grab dust and gunk and everything in there. So the extra fat, the moment when you start washing with your soap, the extra fat that's floating around will grab onto all of the dirt and dust and stuff. Then the soap molecule will grab onto that dirty little oil molecule and you wash all your dirt away. Another thing that you want to do as well is, if you are using soap on your skin, you have natural oils. So if you have this fat loving soap molecule, is going to grab your natural oils as well, and it's going to strip it away from your skin. Now we do want to wash excess oil from our skin, but we don't want to strip everything, because oil actually do protect your skin as well. So if you increase your superfat on your soap, if you leave a little bit of superfat in it, it will actually protect your skin. It can moisturize your skin. I don't know if it really moisturizes it, but it will keep it from stripping all the oils away, so it's not as dry and tight and itchy afterwards. Okay, the next question is how much, or how do we calculate our superfat? Now I use my soap making calculator. I do have videos on my channel on how to calculate everything by hand, but the soap calculator makes life so much easier. I love using Soapmaking Friend. You can use any of the other soap calculators. I just love this one. It's so much more than just a soap calculator. I know it used to be completely free. Now there's a paid version as well. So the free version, you can only save 5 recipes on it. I will leave a link in the description. If you want to use the free version and need to save more than 5 recipes, there's a way to do that. But if you can afford the $2.99 per month, this is actually an awesome calculator. So just think about it. It's got you can save as many recipes as you like. You can save your batches. You can calculate your costing on it. You've got an inventory. So if you actually have a soap making business, this is an awesome tool. So let's just come and jump over to the computer. Okay, I've got a recipe here that is 100% coconut oil recipe that I opened here. So let me just show. If you go down on the left hand side under number 4, you will have super fat. I will leave a link in the description on how to use this specific soap calculator in detail, and it actually gives you a lot of information that's not just soap calculator. So if you need to know how to do this, just check in the description box. Okay, under number 4, you've got your super fat, where you can put the percentage in there. You have a choice to super fat after cook for hot process. Normally it stands on a no for cold process. Now, just quick word between hot process and cold process. Normally we do cold process on my channel, mostly cold process. Now with cold process, you cannot choose which oil is going to be your super fat. Everything is mingled together in a pot, and the super fat that's going to be left are going to be random. If you use more than one oil, if you use coconut oil and castor oil and tallow, it's going to be a random amount of fats or different kinds of fats that's going to end up as your super fat. In cold process, you cannot choose your super fat. It's going to be something of everything in there. Hot process, on the other hand, because we add the extra oil afterwards, what's going to happen is you're going to cook your soap, everything is going to become soap, and then you add super fat afterwards, so you can choose to put shea butter or something, all those lovely exotic stuff. So then you can decide on what you want to do. Now this is the reason why this soap calculator got a super fat after cook for hot process option. Now what a soap calculator does is, if you are using the cold process method, then it will actually calculate how much lye to omit from your recipe so that there is some super fat left over. If you are doing a super fat for the hot process, then what this calculator is going to do is going to calculate how much lye you need to saponify all of your oils, and it's going to tell you how much oil to add afterwards, after the cook, so that you can have a specific percentage super fat. So just keep in mind, this one super fat after cook for hot process is it's going to tell you how much oil to add on afterwards. If you use it for cold process, it's just going to be an automatic thing. You're just going to look at your recipe, see how much oil you're going to need for your recipe, how much lye and how much water. It already took some of the lye away, so that there's going to be a super fat left over there. Okay, how to choose your super fat. What I usually do, if you go to the right hand side and you go back up, I've got the 100% coconut oil here. It's going to work out my recipe for me here, and just under that you've got recipe properties. Now you're going to look at your cleansing value here. Cleansing value for 100% coconut oil soap is very, very, very high. So this is going to strip all of the oils from your skin if you don't adjust just a little bit. Now normally your super fat, the calculator stands on 5%. How I decide on what I want my super fat percentage is, I look at my cleansing value, and there are two ways that you can go on this. I've got hot water where I live, so I don't want too much extra fats and oils in my soap, because that's just going to produce a lot of soap scum. So for me, I divide this number. If it's anything more than 16, I divide it by 3. So 67 is going to be around about 22% that I'm going to make my super fat. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm just going to make it 22%. And you enter it. Then if you go back, okay, I forgot to show you, this was 117 gram on 5%. So the moment when I upped the super fat, it took more lye away, so it's only 96.4 grams of lye that you're going to use in this recipe now, so that there is 22% super fat here on the left hand side left. If you live in soft water areas, then you can actually divide your cleansing number. Here is your 67 cleansing number. You can divide it by 2. So you can up your super fat to 33%. So this is a very personal choice. So you can do this 33%. If you go back in your recipe and you have a look here, now it's only 82.81 grams of lye that you're going to add to your recipe. So this is a personal choice that you're going to, sometimes it's a personal preference. It's not the right way, there's a preference. So a personal preference to what you want to add to your soap. As I say, where I live, I do divide by 3. That's going to give me 22%. If you have saltwater areas, you can even divide it by 2. Then it's going to be minus 22. This is going to be 33. Okay, so this is the easy way to calculate. Oh, something else that I forgot to mention. If you're making laundry soap or a dish soap, then you're gonna reduce your superfat because you want to get all the fats and stuff out of your clothing and your dishes. So this, I usually normally do then 1%. Let me just show you here. 122, quite a bit more lye. So this is going to saponify all of the oil in your soap so that there's no extra oil and stuff. So this is if you want a very, very high super cleansing soap. So there are instances like laundry and your dish soap that you would actually like to have your super fat quite low. The reason why I don't do a 0 is I don't want acoustic soap. So if there is something off with my caustic soda or my scale measurements are a little bit off, whatever, then it's not gonna, there's gonna be, this is my safety barrier. So I like to use it like that. And yes, that is the whole thing about superfat. Now you know what, why and how to calculate how much to use. So I hope this helped you. As I said, there are links on how to use Soapmaking Friend as a calculator, how to save your extra recipes if you want to use the free version. But I would actually like to, if you can afford it, and if you make more than, if you make more than 3 batches of soap a month, then I would say this is actually worth it to go for the full version. I think there's a yearly set option as well that's going to be even a little bit cheaper. So yeah, happy soaping until I see you guys next time again. Keep well and be blessed.